Hello and welcome to day 26 of Black History Month, 28 Days of Black Excellence. My name is Faith Amour and I am so glad to be with you. Today we are going into the world of film direction. Now I'm wondering, can you tell me who is this film director? Any guesses? Her name is Ava DuVernay. Let's get to know her a bit better. Ava Marie DuVernay was born on August 24th, 1972, in Long Beach, California. She was raised by her mother, who was an educator, and her stepfather, Murray. She grew up in Linwood, California, which is near Compton. In the summer, she would travel to where her birth father grew up, which was close to Selma, Alabama. DuVernay said that these summers influenced how she made Selma, a film set in that very place, as her father had witnessed the 1965 Selma to Montgomery marches. When she was at UCLA, she was a double major in English Lit and African American Studies. She first wanted to go into journalism, but after an internship with CBS News, where she was actually assigned to help cover the O.J. Simpson murder trial, she was a little disillusioned with journalism, and so she moved on into public relations, into PR, and she worked as a junior publicist at 20th Century Fox, Savoy Pictures, and other PR agencies. She opened her own PR firm, the DuVernay Agency, and she provided marketing and PR campaigns for movies and television. And she also initiated the Urban Beauty Collective and had some initiatives targeted towards millennial women of color. One Christmas holiday, she had a bright idea. She said, I'm going to make my first feature film, and so she did. And it went along the festival circuit, and she decided that she would make a little bit of a pivot to documentary film because the costs are lower, and she could still learn the trade of film direction. So her first narrative feature film was actually praised by Roger Ebert of film critic fame, and he said it was one of the best films he had seen about coming to terms with the death of a loved one. Ooh, we are jumping ahead somehow. Yes, okay. So let's see. It's gonna happen again, so we're just gonna go with it. She was the first Black woman to win Best Director at Sundance in 2012 for her second feature film, Middle of Nowhere. I highly recommend that you check out her Smithsonian Museum film, August 28th, A Day in the Life of a People. It's a really interesting concept. It explores 6 significant events that happened all on the exact same date. So not necessarily the same year, but the same date, August 28th. And some of the events that happened on that date include Motown's first #1 single, the lynching of 14-year-old Emmett Till, the speech of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., among other events. It's something that you should definitely try to check out. There's a test called the Bechdel test. It's more of a feminist thing where they try to find out, is there enough representation appropriate of females? And there's a DuVernay test. I'm not sure if it's tongue-in-cheek or if it's a real thing, but it's a racial equivalent where they try to find out if Blacks and other minorities have fully realized lives, or do they just serve the scenery of primarily white stories. So that's a really interesting thing to have as a legacy for people to ensure that there are fully realized and fully developed Black characters in film. So I thought that was really interesting. Her film Selma in 2014 was one that received that she was nominated for Golden Globe Award for Best Director, and also she was the first Black female director to have her film nominated for an Academy Award that year for Best Picture. The Selma is about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, President Lyndon B. Johnson, and the 1965 Selma to Montgomery March for voting rights. So she was award-winning in this, which is fantastic. Let me show you the photo for that. She also received a Peabody Award in 2017 and nominated for Best Documentary Feature for her 2016 13th. This film pretty much rocked my world in 2020. It's centered on the race and basically racial issues in the United States criminal justice system, and it's titled after the 13th Amendment in the U.S. Constitution, which outlawed slavery unless it was punishment for a crime. Angela Davis, the activist, said that 13th is probably the most important movie you'll ever see, and I highly recommend that you go to Netflix, borrow someone's Netflix, and take a look at that film, and I would love to have a conversation with you about it afterwards, because it is extremely eye-opening, extremely so. In 2018, DuVernay did the Disney children's fantasy film A Wrinkle in Time, and she was the first Black woman to direct a live-action film that earned $100 million at a U.S. box office, although in other ways it kind of tanked, but still it was a really huge accomplishment. In 2017, DuVernay was included on the list of Time 100 most influential people in the world. And what I think is really interesting, let's take a look here. She had the Selma Project and A Wrinkle in Time that she had close connections with Oprah Winfrey. So you see the covers here of A Wrinkle in Time, of When They See Us, which is another really important film. The tagline here, what if all boys were created equal? It's about the Exonerated Five, and there's so much I could say, but I highly recommend you checking out those two films, especially the 13th and When They See Us. They'll open eyes and touch your heart too. This was from 2019, and if you aren't sure about the Exonerated Five, this is about the 1989 Central Park jogger case, and the film's received critical acclaim, streamed 23 million times in its first month, a record number of Emmy Award nominations, 16 for writing, directing, acting for the stars and for the supporting characters. And I was too young at the time in 1989 to be aware of the case, so it was all new for me and super revelatory of even things that are happening right now. Now, she was not limited and is not limited to film. She has also directed TV documentaries, specials, and an episode of a lot of people's favorite political thriller, Scandal. She also created and executive produced the drama series Queen Sugar on the Oprah Winfrey Network, which is in its 4th season. So she and Oprah definitely have a very strong relationship. She's done advertising and music videos for Jay-Z and Beyonce. And she's just a powerhouse in the entertainment industry, but she pairs that with her storytelling, which is centered on activism. And it's a really, really special thing to see now that she's on the board of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. I think that she will continue to have a big influence in how film looks over the next 20 years. So I'm really excited to see what else comes of Miss DuVernay. So here's the challenge. What can you do today in the spirit of Ava DuVernay? Something to think about. I challenge you to be the first, to be the best, to be the one we talk about for years to come. If anything in her story or in the examples given stuck out for you, please leave that in the comments. And here we go. We look back so we can look forward to a better world. If you enjoyed the program, hit the like, share buttons, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. See you next time when we talk about another important figure in Black history. And wherever you're watching from, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, I thank you for watching. My name is Faith Amour.